What is up, my sexy degenerates? I'm just gonna cut to the chase. This video is more of a question than anything else, so I just gotta ask, why is it that it's so hard to find and that there really isn't an existence of anime and manga series that take place in a hospital setting? I think a basic preface for why I have this interest, and I'm asking here today from anybody that can answer, is I primarily work in healthcare. And most people, if you're watching this, you probably found me because of my Nurse Azur Lane video, which blew up for whatever reason. I am eternally grateful to anybody that stuck through from that. That is absolutely beautiful. But yeah, that probably gives you a good idea of who I am and a basic rundown. Weeb healthcare worker. Boom. So when I went to search for like a crossing point between two things that I'm pretty heavily interested in, I was kind of surprised to find that there really wasn't anything in the area of hospital based series. I watched what I could find that was even close to this category, but nothing ever really truly fit the hospital staff day to day vibe. I guess, much like maids in series, hospital staff and doctors and nurses are just kind of made more as a side character or a supporting cast member rather than the main focus. And I think that's kind of the what I want to draw attention to with this video is I really wish there was something that kind of reflected more on those characters and made it surround them and then branch from there. With the current lacking in this area, I think I genuinely love anything. You could do so many different takes on this too. You could do a slice of life, day to day experience, and either have it be pretty light on the medical stuff or super realistic, but it just follows the staff kind of through their lives there. Or you could do a comedy, ecchi type style like Grand Blue or Food Wars, but instead of diving or cooking, it's with healthcare workers. Or even you could take a Fire Force approach and instead of firefighters, you have nurses and doctors getting action, like, and fighting. I think, I genuinely think that this opening of stuff that hasn't really been touched quite as much just leaves a lot of potential, and I find that exciting, but still surprising that it hasn't been done yet, considering how much stuff is constantly being repeated and stuff. I feel like it would be fresh to have something thrown into the mix, even if it's kind of similar to other stuff. Just the setting, I think, would be interesting. One of the series I watched prior to making this video, just to see if there was anything that existed, that takes about 95% of it in a hospital, which we were getting close to the objective, is Looking Up at the Half Moon, I believe. Don't ask me for the alternate title. It's Hanbun something. It's super long, borderline looking like a light novel, but it follows two patients in a hospital. And it's only like 6 episodes. It's generic and like pretty predictable, but I mean, it's worth a sit down if you just want kind of like a warm, fuzzy, more romancy type thing. And it has like a lot of interactions with hospital staff, but otherwise, it doesn't really have anything to do with it. But the biggest note I have with this, putting Death Note to shame for author's notes, there is a point where they give descriptions of like the medical terminology and they smack you with a freaking paragraph. You basically need reading glasses to read all that. I just thought that was noteworthy watching that because that is you have to pause just to have enough time to read all that. Otherwise, it's close, but no cigar, basically. A series that I've heard get raved about pretty heavily was Monster, and it starts off so good, like so close to what I was looking for. And don't get me wrong, Monster's still a good series. Check it out. I read the manga personally just because just what I felt like doing at that point in time. And while it's good, it starts off for like the first 2% very heavy into a hospital based and following procedures and like that whole rundown. But then it goes into its whole, if anybody that's familiar with Monster knows that it goes off on this huge tangent from that. So unfortunately, that was a little bit of a bummer, relatively just for me. Doesn't really affect how I feel about that series, but wasn't exactly what I was looking for in context to this video. One last series that I threw into this mix to kind of see if anything existed a ways back, and I absolutely love, even though it didn't hit the exact point I was looking for, is Cells at Work. Oh my god. They announced the second season, so I'm super excited for this too. But anybody that hasn't seen this series, please do yourself a service and go watch this. It's not that long, and like I said, second season's coming up, so it's even more reason to be excited. It's not a hospital based thing. It's basically Osmosis Jones, but an anime where it's just all the characters are the cells of the body and they do their functions, and it basically subconsciously teaches you stuff even if you don't really want to learn anything, which I thought that was really cool. It was almost like it made learning fun. And I think if they made stuff like this show out of other learning topics, it would make people more engaged to want to know about it, just because it makes a plot line out of stuff but teaches you about disease processes and what certain cells and organs do in the body, because each episode is a different malfunction, and I have no idea how the body of the person in that show is able to live because it's a disease every single day. It's absolutely brutal, the most just destroyed body. But it's not in a hospital, so I don't really count it as what I'm looking for right now, but I still love it because it has that whole medical aspect but still made it fun. And I appreciate that beyond what you can possibly imagine. They also gave us a waifu out of a red blood cell. Come on. Come on. Go watch that show. That's really good. That's by far my favorite one out of these three for sure. This video is probably going to get buried, but I just wanted to throw it out there just in the hopes that maybe, just maybe, it finds the right person one day that leads to inspiring somebody to kickstart or get a project off the ground that kind of fills this hole that really, at least to my knowledge, doesn't have a lot in it, and maybe make it a more prevalent area that sees more focus. I encourage commenting on pretty much all of my videos, but this one especially. Please let me know if you have any recommendations or if there's something that I missed that I'm not super aware of. It might be even obscure. I am always open for that kind of stuff. You can message me on Twitter, Instagram, comment on this video. Otherwise, that's all I really have for you for now. Hopefully this video wasn't too long. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hit a like if you did enjoy it and you found it interesting. If anybody hasn't brought up this topic before, please subscribe if you are still here. I greatly appreciate it, and I love you. You are a sexy individual, and I mean that. That's not just filler and fake empty talk. I mean it. I see you. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.